What a beautiful morning. I'm up nice and early, about 7:30. I'm the only one in this hot pool, and it is amazing. The sun is shining on the mountains, and there was some snow up there, just a little bit. This is just amazing.
Marui Hot Springs is a historical natural thermal spring located in the beautiful Lewis Pass. The property is surrounded by pristine native beech forest and rugged mountains. This resort has been a place of relaxation, rejuvenation and healing for centuries. It was first used by the jade and gemstone traders who carried their rock to the west coast. Along this route there were many tribal battles, and the Marui Hot Springs was used as a place to heal battle wounds, recover from trauma, rest in the comfort of hot mineral springs. I have all these little wellness rooms around the place just to sit peacefully quiet, read a book, do whatever you want to do. It has been destroyed by fire and rebuilt. It had a petrol station in the 1960s and a pub with a swimming pool in the 80s. And now visitors and locals alike can enjoy these therapeutic fluids.
2015 it was bought out, and it has been now turned into a health and wellbeing resort. They have yoga, hot springs, gastronomical food. I had a great time. We had a 45-minute private spa package where we were given some chocolate, very nice chocolate, and a couple of bottles of bubble to enjoy in our thermal hot pool. What do you think, John?
Well, it was a place of well-being, and we were only there for 24 hours thereabouts, so I'd only managed to get rid of a little bit of my badness. 24 hours in a wellbeing centre is not going to achieve an awful lot. But anyway, we had a great time. We had dinner. It was put our bodies through a gastronomic experience, which started off with some pink liquid that was supposed to cleanse the inside. Followed up, I had a lamb shoulder. Liz had some chicken and rice with a baked vegetable salad. It just got better and better, and then it finished with, I had apple crumble, or apple and berry crumble. Liz finished off with a fondue, I think, Liz, wasn't it?
Chocolate fondue.
Chocolate fondue, so very, very nice. A bottle of wine, a nice little bottle of Pinot that we actually sampled when we were in the Marlborough. So really, really, really nice. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We are a little bit refreshed and rejuvenated this morning as we make our way up to Nelson.
First stop was Marble Hill.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distraction.
Here we are at a cement wall which was built in 1964 right atop the fault line. The Marui, pardon me if I pronounce it wrong, the Marui fault line, built in 1964, and it was here to measure whether when we have an earthquake, whether it moves up or down. Fortunately, it's not moved. The last one they believe was in 1600s. It actually moved 1.3 metres horizontally. The plate shifted, so it went up rather than down.
Cool.
But at this, fortunately, this wall hasn't moved. It is 24 metres long. Let me just read that. It's 1.4 metres high. Most of it is underground, wider at the base than at the top.
The road's been closed.
Massive landslip, and they've had to rebuild the road. Look at this on the side where they've got these big containers to stop the bank falling down any further onto the road. The road itself has given away, a massive chunk taken out of it.
Done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Be free with me.
We had a pretty good run all the way through to Murchison. Our first stop when we got there was the museum. This was being looked after by some of the local ladies. What a wealth of information, and they were more than happy to answer any questions that we had. It was a great experience as they had lived in the area all their lives. The township is an ode to its gold mining past, with many buildings still in their original form from the late 1800s. Murchison is the true definition of an undiscovered outdoor paradise. With its unassuming and unpretentious face, this small town is home to some truly unique and stunning activities, eateries and outdoor adventures. It is known as the whitewater capital of the country because there are rivers everywhere for anybody into canoeing or kayaking. It's a dream come true, with the region offering some of the best all grades options in New Zealand. Unfortunately, we were 1 week too early, as they closed the operations during the winter months and were not due to open until next week. We should spare a thought for the early travellers of this part of the world. This was put in place in 1989 to display the names of the mountains that can be seen from the lookout.
I don't know whether it will do it justice. Well, here we are at the Saddle Lookout. It's an impressive spot. It would be even better if it was sunny, but what you can see is pretty good. You can hear the bird noise. Apparently this bird is as big as your thumb. And the bumblebees are nearly as big as your thumb too.
Nelson is situated facing Tasman Bay, and it was established by English settlers in 1841.
Here we are driving into Nelson, so from the forests to the beaches.
The Nelson region is famous for its year-round sunshine, long golden beaches, national parks, locally grown produce, freshly caught seafood, and a large creative community of working artists. It's also the geographical centre of New Zealand.
Now this is our room at Nelson Harbourside Lodge. Pretty flash. I'm just going to go show you the view from our room. And here we are. Right by the water. Pretty cool. Well, here we are. We've left Nelson and we're just doing up the coast to have a little bit of a look-see. We're on our way to Kaiteri, if that's how you pronounce it, and we've decided to take the coastal route to see as much of this beautiful land as we can. Uh-oh, hang on. What have I got here? That says road closed ahead. That's not good. I reckon they've had they've had quite a bit of ranges recently, so they've had some landslips which we've seen on our travel so far. Oh, hang on, here it says resident access only. Now if you have a look, there's some cliffs down that way.
Yeah, see the hill.
That you can see the hill, and I reckon, John,
I reckon that's probably slid down across the road. It's unsafe.
Yeah.
By the look of that, that's like right up to the base of those houses. All
So
right, we'll have to go back to the highway and go back in the way.
We'll just have to change plans and go back in the main highway.
Morning all. Well, we got away nice and early this morning from Nelson, and we're going to head up to a couple of little places up into the peninsula. The first stop is the Mapua Wharf. Looks like a really old jetty, and I guess the only thing that you guys can't experience is that smell of the ocean. Beautiful.
Well, this is the coastal highway.
Here we're going to go.
Yep. And we're off. Site on our way to Kaiteri. In grateful memory of Captain Arthur Wakefield, who landed here in October 1841 when founding Nelson, and to record the coming of Riwaka's first pioneers who landed at the foot of this hill on the 2nd of May 1842.
Wow, 265.6 a litre. We reckon we're doing a tough in Australia. Wowsy.
This is our first fuel stop, isn't it, John?
This is our first fuel stop. We've been driving it very, very economically. Not that it really matters, it uses what it uses, but yeah, $2.65.6 a litre.
We've just arrived at Kaiteri Beach.
What a spiky spot.
Yeah.
We'll find a bit of a spot and I'll just show you what it looks like.
Look at this. Let's just show you just around a little bit. It is absolutely amazing. It's not a very nice day today, but still, it is just beautiful. Imagine what it's like when the sun's out and people are swimming in it.
The Kaitiri Tiri Mountain Bike Park offers great riding for all abilities in a stunning and unique setting. It forms part of the Kaitiri Tiri Recreational Reserve and the gateway to the world-renowned Abel Tasman National Park, with some obviously stunning views from the fringes.
Well, as we've been travelling along these roads, we've been seeing orchards, apple orchards. We've seen hop orchards. I don't know whether you call them hop orchards, but areas where the hops are growing. And then we came across this other. We didn't know what they were. They weren't hops because it was a plant that was growing up, and then it had.
More like a tree, wasn't it?
It was similar to a tree, but it had little tendrils that came off each side of it, which looked different. Definitely not apples, definitely not hops, definitely not grapes. So we kept on seeing them. So we stopped when we stopped in the service station. We asked someone, and they are kiwi fruit. So we'll show you a kiwi fruit orchard. And yeah, it's obviously not the season at the moment because they're just starting to bud. So yeah, interesting. Hadn't seen kiwi fruit orchards before. Something new. Keen, intrepid travellers on their push bike.
There were parts of the highway that had totally collapsed, so we were pleased to have made it all the way through.
So we've taken the scenic route from Nelson to Picton today, which is some of the windy roads that we've taken, and now we're hopefully stopping at Pelorus Bridge, which some people have told us there's a bit of a history to it. So
For centuries, travellers passed through this area with foot tracks that crisscrossed the landscape. One of these tracks followed the Pelorus River upstream before crossing the Saddle and descending into Nelson via the Métis Valley. In 1843, Europeans began exploring possible routes between Nelson and the Wairaroo Valley. The old Moree track was chosen, and after intermittent progress, it was finished in 1859. Back then, the journey took a day and a half on horseback. A string of accommodation houses and the telegraph soon appeared along the way. With the discovery of gold in a nearby river in 1864, the trickle of people using the track turned into a flood. In 1885, the track was replaced by a road suitable for horse-drawn traffic using the route that is now the highway. After the gold fever abated, timber milling became the mainstay of the area and the valleys were stripped of their dense green cloak. Here at the Polaris Bridge, a small island of native forest remained. Set aside for a township, it was soon recognised for its value as the one beautiful spot left along the main coach road between Blenheim and Nelson. In 1912 it became a scenic reserve, so today we can still pause here and enjoy the natural beauty. The place is not without its own dark side. The notorious Burgess gang, they murdered and stole money and gold from a party of 4 men who were leaving Nelson. It was not long before the men were missed and a huge search was mounted. They were arrested and the confession of one of them, Sullivan, led to finding the bodies and the gang was convicted of murder. They were all hung in Nelson in 1866, except for Sullivan, who had confessed.
Climbed up a reasonable height.
The scenery is truly stunning.
Yeah, it's not like we haven't done this sort of stuff before. You got into the Central Plateau, up through Powhatan, and we're up through the back of Deloraine. This was very similar to that type of terrain. A lot of hairpin bends, switchbacks, whatever you want to call them.
This is a Thai coconut curry topped with toasted shallots and coconut. This is your garlic butter half shell topped with panko crown. And then you've got crown mussels and the beer better mussels in there, and then the Dutch mussel croquette. And the other one's coming.
Great, thank you.
We got here.
As we know, things don't always go to plan, and it doesn't matter whether you're in Australia or New Zealand.
This way, which is through the back skirts or the outskirts of Blenheim, because the road that we were originally going to, the scenic route from Havelock Bay to Picton, is shut for repairs.
Well, we finally make it to Picton. We get ourselves checked in, as this will be our base for the next 3 days.